Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brace for Impact. I'm trying to keep it together from my pre-episode antics. So is Parks. That's him
I'm
on the
actually
left.
doing okay. I thought it was
Yeah,
hilarious, and then you just kept going, and it's like, okay, I
yeah, yeah,
understand the
yeah.
joke. We can move on now. You're just having the time of your life. It's okay.
Listen. You gotta have fun while you're here. But it's episode 36, Parks. And look, we have actually got a crap ton we've got to go through. So we're gonna start with the results. We're gonna start with the cash cups. We got 3 editions of them.
Yeah,
And we got a lot of news to talk about, including the bombshell at the end.
yeah.
And boy, what a bombshell is it? But we're gonna make you sit through 40 minutes of the episode before we talk about that. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with the cash cups. Let's start where the teams didn't, like we always. Asia, all 3 editions got canceled. They haven't held a cash cup in a long time, actually.
Since
I'm trying to.
September 30th. I
There
have
you
it
go.
since September 30th of
Yeah, I
last
don't know
year.
why, but like I had the master page up and then I closed the master page at
Well,
the end like an idiot. But
so it sucks, and they've tried to address it. They've put out a thing saying, "Hey, we need feedback from the Asia." Excuse me, I got the hiccups.
to which they got no feedback.
Yeah, they got no feedback. And at this point, it's not going. I really, and this is, I don't think they'll. What I really wish they would do is they would lump the $500 that usually goes to Asia Cup, and they lumped it over to Oceania and South Africa. Like gave them each an extra $250. I think that's cool. Because those are
That'd be a
the
great
other regions.
idea.
Those are the other regions that are like they're playing and they're consistently playing. Oceania hasn't taken one off since October of last year. So
Yeah.
they're going on strong. They've always had at least 2, even if it is only 2 teams, but they play consistent, really good
Yeah.
on their side. And it's not exactly. It's been a bit more rocky recently with South Africa because they don't really have anything to play for. But you give that little bit extra money, that little bit extra incentive, and kind of deal with the rolling blackouts, you'd probably be fine. That's kind of where that
Just a
sits.
note, by the way. I just had a little look. So calendar year, counting calendar year. So they
Yeah.
did one. They did one February 6th of last year. I'm counting that one as the starting point.
Yes.
They have done 8 of the 26 cash cups available. That's only 30%. So that's like a smidge. You know how it's like 30 point something percent, but
Yeah.
it's literally a smidge
I
above
could do the
30%.
calculation
So
right now. Hold on.
it's 30.769. I've got the calculator up.
0.3076.
Yeah, but it's like
31%.
it's just not, and it's hard to ask for feedback because I get it. Like nobody, like you would need
Nobody
a
cares.
translator or whatever, right? But it's still the fact that I just don't know I mean, you just, this is what agitates the
You
living
can't do
crap
it.
out of me. Because remember when they said, by the way, that the Impact League is based on the participation in the Caps Cush. We just know now, and I
They're
know I'm 2
lying.
minutes into the pod. It's just bullshit. We
Yeah.
know it is, right? So, anyway,
They're lying.
let's get into the Oceanic Cash Cup, shall we, before we take up any more of our precious time?
Yes,
And
we gotta keep moving
let's get into the first one. That's January the 20th, and it is 2 teams we are very familiar with. Yarp and Akai Bowl, who played in the final, but we did have a third team this time in what was a great team name, and I'm not counting this as a swear, by the way.
Yeah.
You can't hold it against me, but Shart. And
I understand where you're going for by saying it's a swear. I also think it's funny, so I'm not going to say anything.
okay, that's fine. Says the man who refuses to still say Gok Cobblers to this day.
I tweeted it today.
Yes, you did, but that's a little bit different.
No,
Anyway,
I
Sharks.
tweeted it. You have to leave me alone.
Sharky, Jess, Samil, whose face it name is Darude Samstorm, which is great. That's amazing. Camille and Bones was on the Shart side.
Yeah.
They lost to Akai Bowl, which everyone comes in and says it's actually Acai. I don't care. I'm calling it Akai Bowl. And then Akai Bowl went on to play Yarp. So Yarp won. It was pretty convincingly in the end, 13-3, 13-4.
It's actually a ball. That was so like Valley Girl.
I've heard Acai and I've heard Acai.
West Coast.
And I'm like, I don't.
I'm too important for you. That's what Benny imagines.
Yeah,
for all
it's
the
a Kai ball. So
Yarp ended up winning that one. 13-3.
Yes.
So it doesn't even matter. They still lost. At least the first one.
Yep.
Moving on to the second edition. Again, 3 teams. I'm guessing
Edris was a male team, so they got booted.
I see. So Yarp
So we
and
actually only had two teams.
Yarp and Akai Ball again, 13-1, 13-5. Yarp continues dominance. And then the final edition of the three, I want to keep calling it the Treble weekend because like if you win all three, like, and it was again Yarp and Akai Ball, and yeah, Yarp won again, 13-9, 13-7. So a little bit closer this time around.
Yeah. Interesting note with both of these games really quickly.
Yeah.
The Vertigo was 6-1 to Kaibal, and the Overpass was 6-2, and they both finished 6-6 halves.
Damn.
So yeah, interesting.
Yarp be grinding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Oceania. Fortunately, they don't. They did their stuff. We talked about them. Sucks that they don't have more teams. I missed them.
It's the smallest region, so
it is. It's tied now with South Africa. South Africa doesn't have a lot of.
No, but South Africa has more players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't play. It's like saying
it's
Asia is the biggest region because it has players. Well, yeah, but they don't play. They don't.
Anyways, not on Face It. Anyway.
Speaking of canceled ones, the first edition of the Treble was canceled. Unfortunate. Next edition came in.
So we had to do the double.
Yeah, so we had to do the double. First match, I don't know. You have the pages open. Who was the third team?
Yep. V Fortis was the third team. They lost 13-3, 13-1. So V Fortis is the Namibian team. They have South African flags on Face It because I guess Face It doesn't understand African geography. But they're the Namibian team. 13-3, 13-1. They have one of the best player names, by the way, on that Namibian side with the best coffee table. But they went on to play ATK Ocean, and it was White Rabbit that came out on top in a 3-map thriller.
Yeah.
9-13, 13-5, 13-9 in the end for the first of the two South African Cash Cups.
All right, well, that's the first edition. Next one coming up. Ooh, four teams. They got 2 semifinal matches. This one. This is the most recent one that happened this weekend. ATK female. The ITGIRL or the It Girl.
Okay.
A
lot of familiar names on that team, by the way. Gracie, Queen, Nats.
Yeah. Where Nats and Gracie were playing on White Rabbit Amaryllis though.
I could have sworn Gracie was playing on
Hold on.
ATK before. I could have sworn. But anyway,
so Gracie
you
and
look
Nats,
at
Gracie and Nats played on White Rabbit Amaryllis the weekend before. And then they were playing on It Girl. We ended up losing 2-0 to ATK 13-11, 13-10. Semifinals, V Fortis went up against White Rabbit Amaryllis, and WRA wiped the floor with them 13-2, 13-4. And then they get to the grand finals, and ATK, again, it's longer matches in comparison, but they went out 13-11, 13-10 on Mirage and Overpass.
Right, so they swapped Cash Cups.
Yeah, give them one each.
Hey, a little bit of money for everybody to go around. Into the next region, shall we? That is South America. Let's go there next.
6 teams. I was just saying it's specifically just Brazilian because that's how it is.
Hey, there's
that's where the servers are.
I mean, yes, but there's Argentinian players, Uruguayan players. Anyway, we had 6 teams. Atrix got a bye. Ex Divina got a bye. So it was Balhudinas who played Caprivaras. Sundogs played Bartoluna. Yeah. So you say this, and then there's Arncom and China from Argentina on the Caprivaras side. But it was Balhudinas who won. Olga, Anna, Ferzi, Isa.
Yeah, I forgot Olga was playing. She's back home. She was having some fun.
Yes. So they played 13-6 on Mirage. That was pretty easy. Bartoluna beat Sundogs 13-3 on Anubis. That would get us our semifinals. Balundinas would beat Atrix 13-4, 13-11. And then, of course, in the second semifinal, Ex Divina would beat Bartoluna and it was Baluntinas who won the first Cash Cup 2-1, by the way, 13-2, 9-13, 13-11 in
Damn.
the end. So Olga comes home and wins a Cash Cup.
Just have fun, right? All right. Well, we go on to the second one. Again, 6 teams coming through. This time I don't see Olga in the top 4 because, of course, shows the top 4 teams. Interestingly, at least in this, I don't know who the other teams were. So we had MIBR, Team Arkham, and W7M. I don't know who the other 2 teams.
Smoke Gaming was one.
Yep.
Kata Di Banana, KTV, Tamizina, Zon. So you remember a lot of those names from the old Parabellum side and whatnot.
Sure.
And then Team Lulu was the other one. And that was just Lulu, Mel, like the Pug team, essentially.
Pug team. All right. Well, bottom semifinal, W7M ended up forfeiting the match. MIBR going up against Team Arkham, and it was a 2-1, 13-7, 11-13, 13-5. MIBR take that one 2-1. Then get to the grand finals, and it's a 13-6, 13-5 for MIBR. They take second. They take the second. Then we come to the final of the 3. So again, 6 teams coming in. Bit different. MIBR are in there. Davina are in there. Penelina S2.
Yeah,
So,
these are great team names, by the way.
yeah.
So just real quick, MIBR got the bye.
Yeah.
Davina got the bye. And then the first quarterfinal was Panella versus Palanina. Or it basically spelled almost exactly the same, but it was Panella versus Panalina Season 2. and then Complicated versus Sundogs. So
MIBR lose 2-0 to Penalina, 13-8, 13-10. Davina lose to Complicated, who has 2 Davina players on it. Fun times. But yeah, just fun times. And then so you get to the finals. It's Complicated versus Penalina 2. Penalina takes that one 2-0, 13-7, 13-2. So
yeah,
fun times in Brazil.
That Panella side, by the way, had 3 Furia players on it. And that quarterfinal between the 3 Furia players and the 3
and the MIBR
Luxo players, they went double overtime.
Of course. Why would they?
Why would it not? Why would there not be overtime in Brazil?
All right. Well, we can continue moving on then in towards America. These are the big ones.
Yeah.
These are the big ones. So across the 3 here, we had a good showing. First Cash Cup, 6 teams signed up. The notable teams in Tsunami Sirens, NA Savers, which is Arianarchist, Cinnamon, Kiki, Mads, Bungie, Shimmer, who is using Rainy as their 5th, and Wanted Goons Bandits showing up again. Glad to see them all back. I forget who the other 2 teams were. I want to say one of them was Mulch Munchers.
For the first one, Sugar Mamas.
Yeah.
And the other one was Burritos.
Okay. Well, NA Savers got to the semifinals. They beat Tsunami Sirens 2-0, 13-2, 13-9. Big scoreline. And then Shimmer went up against the Bandits 13-4, 13-2. That left to the grand finals. Shimmer versus NA Savers 13-6, 13-8. And the last we saw of NA Savers.
We got to give a round of applause. Parks is a tournament-winning manager.
You're right.
Let's go. Come on, Parks. Hey.
If I wasn't casting, I would have been coaching, and then I would have had more plaudits. No, and then week 2 comes around. FlyQuest Red. The first weekend, FlyQuest Red had registered, but at the last minute they had to pull out. They didn't confirm, so they weren't there. Anyways, we come into week number 2. 8 teams signed up. Notables are FlyQuest Red, the Bandits, You Not Even a Fart, which I didn't know.
What a great team name.
I didn't know what they were referencing until I think Snicky told me. And I was I
don't know what they're referencing.
It's a song. It's a lyric from a song by Ice Spice. I don't know who the singer. And she's like, something. You think you're like shit. You're not even a fart or something like that. It's apparently a very good bar. I I'm lost, man.
I don't know if I want to call it a bar.
No, but like it's because I think she's a rapper. I don't fucking.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't.
I still don't want to call it a bar.
You think? I think it's funny. I'm
It's
gonna
funny though,
continue to
yeah.
call it a bar just because I think it's funnier to call it a bar than the
Okay.
actual thing itself.
That's
So
fair.
you not even a fart was Paula, Scraft, Rainy, Olia, and Bubsy. And you can tell there's something notable in that. Rainy was playing for Shimmer before. She's been replaced by Mads. Rainy stood in before. We brought Mads in the next week, and she joined the squad officially, of course, around that time as well. So Shimmer was the other notable team. There were 4 other teams. I want to say Nouns was there.
Yes. Mulch Munchers.
Mulch Munchers, yeah.
The Bandits. Sugar Mamas again.
Sugar, yeah. So it was Sugar Mamas, and then there was another one. 8 teams.
Mulch Munchers, FlyQuest, Bandits, Nouns,
Yeah.
Tsunami Sirens.
Oh, that was the other one. Tsunami Sirens. They
Yeah.
didn't make it into the. They didn't make it.
No,
to
they got
the
knocked
semis.
out by You Not Even a Fart in the quarterfinals.
Still great. So in the semis, then it was FlyQuest Red versus the Bandits because the Bandits beat Nouns. 13-1, 13-3.
It's a big win for the Bandits.
That is a big win for the Bandits. It also kind of shows where the Nouns were at the time, right? Because they were still, a little topsy-turvy, getting into the swing of things. So 13-1, 13-3, FlyQuest Red on their match. You Not Even a Fart against Shimmer. That was pretty close. It ended up being a lot closer than you might expect. 13-9, 13-10 for Shimmer on Mirage and Ancient. Then we get to the grand finals and a bit of a stinker on the first map. It was a 2-0 for FlyQuest Red. 13-3, 13-10 on Mirage and Vertigo. Shimmer, unfortunately, I said it on broadcast, man. Just empathy was not there on that first map, and it showed a lot. Like she struggled a lot, and it's unfortunate. But FlyQuest Red, they take their first cash cup of the year, and coming into the second one, much of the same story, I guess you could say.
The third one.
Or third one, yeah. My God, going fast. FlyQuest Red, Nouns, Lotus, and Shimmer, and Lotus is of course Tsunami Sirens. At this point, it's Tsunami Sirens team.
We're gonna get to that, mate. Why you gotta be like that?
I was gonna have to. How am I gonna announce? I gotta announce the roster.
That's fair. That's fair.
We'll announce it again. Like it's news. Because there's
That's
more
fine.
to say to that. I'm not gonna go off right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So FlyQuest Red, Nouns, Lotus, Shimmer. I believe Sugar Mamos was back. Mulch Munchers was back.
Yes.
Clutch Panties was
Mulch
there.
Munchers were back. Only Fins Angels.
Yes, that was the other one.
The new team.
Only Fins Angels with Reef, who's a charity streamer.
And Vivid. Vivid Dark. Shout out Vivid Dark, by the way. Great streamer.
All right, and then so going into the semifinals, then FlyQuest Red versus Nouns, 13-6, 13-3 for Red. So Nouns giving him a little bit more trouble than the one against last week, and then the week before, I'd rather say Shimmer going up against Lotus, 13-5, 13-6. Shimmer take that one pretty comfortably, and then that leads to the grand final. FlyQuest Red against Shimmer, and credit to Shimmer, they were much improved on Mirage. It was a 13-10 scoreline, but you can tell they have not played any Inferno together. 13-1, they got absolutely shut in. They just barely stopped the 13-0. Yeah, that's NA in the Cash Cups, and overall you can still see FlyQuest Red. They made those changes. Emmy has looked very, very good still. Goose Breeders hit I think they might have changed roles or something after bringing Emmy in, because it seems like Goose Breeders changed up a little bit. I thought it appeared that she was doing a lot of lurking in Mirage, so it seems like she's taken over into a different role of kind of acting more independently, and the rest of the team kind of doing their thing. So really cool to see, and especially Vanessa's been looking very good as well. So it's cool to see them growing as well, and I mean the qualifiers are coming up, so they get to sit and watch for a little bit, get to see the 4 teams that will join them, and some more Cash Cups to play, more practice that can be made against the teams around them.
Yeah. Over to the big region of Europe now.
Yeah, the big boys.
Yeah, I know, right? So, we had quite a few teams. I don't know how many in this first one. You got
20.
the there you go. So, NIP Impact are in here. That was a big name.
Yep.
That played Game Release and Prism, Spirit as well, Guild as well, Forza Ladies as well, One Wing Gang. So,
Nemesis.
let's move along.
Shout out Lolita. I know she
Yeah,
watches, so I gotta shout her out.
Shout out Lolita. Absolutely. Absolutely love Lolita. So let's move to where the results got interesting, shall we?
Yep.
Into the quarterfinals. NIP and Nemesis. So Nemesis was Hikomi, Amy B, Gaba, Vispel, and Lolita. And they managed to beat NIP 13-9.
Yeah.
So that put them into the semifinal against Gamer Legion, who got by depression. And
That's a
Guild.
great tide line. That's a great line. Great, congrats, guys. Gamer Legion Prism, they beat depression.
I don't know why I phrased it like that. It was just subconsciously. Crap.
I need more teams named like depression and anxiety, so we can say.
And they battle each
like
other.
Quest
for the
Red
cash
absolutely
cup.
beat the crap out of anxiety today, boys.
yeah. So, the depression side, by the way, Mikari, Ida, Oxyset. So you know those names, right?
Sure.
13-4. Guild got by Spirit in the quarterfinals as well. That was a 13-7. And then Forza beat One Wing Gang in overtime on Mirage 16-13. So I think, interestingly enough, you're going to see a little bit more from this Forza side. I think they're coming on pretty strong just ahead of the qualifiers, which we'll talk about later on. Semifinals, it's Nemesis that actually does the 2-0 over Gamer Legion.
Yeah.
13-8, 13-6. And then you get to the second semifinal. Guild get by Forza 13-1, 13-4 is actually kind of a stomp in that one. And then we get to the grand final, and Nemesis beat Guild 13-10, 13-11. So not only did I go, Lolita's won. This is like her third now. Lolita's on a roll, mate.
She keeps winning. It's good. I'm glad.
I know. All she do is win no matter what.
Yeah,
but
I'm glad to see the diversity. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I'm glad to see the diversity of teams that win in Europe. Like it's not like it's kind of like in South America where
it's a complete antithesis of Oceania, where it's just YARP
and
every
NA
time
when it tends to be like West Red when they play or it's Shimmer.
Yeah,
like, those are the two teams.
I'm actually interested they picked up the cash cups because remember they traditionally never did. You know what I mean? They did a bit at the beginning and then they were like, yeah.
I mean, it's extra practice with the team at this point. Also,
yeah,
it's a little bit of extra money in the back pocket, so you might as well.
Interesting note, by the way.
Yeah.
For Guild, because we know that D7 went there, right?
Right.
They're playing with Chris Sala or Krazy, the former Team Originum, Besiktas, that lineup that won the what was it? DreamHack Showdown Valencia, Giuliano's old team.
Yeah.
So
right.
That was, I thought, an interesting note. But the other thing I want to say is that this Nemesis team actually looks pretty good. Like, you're coming ahead of the qualifiers, and I'm like, I'm definitely watching that team to see what they do in the qualifiers.
You get some good team chemistry. You hit your shots at the right time, and boom, you're right through. That's the great part of qualifiers. Going around. Yeah. It's the same thing with cup competition. Get a bit of a run. Going.
Yeah, shall I kick on with the second cash cup then?
Yes, let's kick on.
Okay, so interesting to note, and this time not in the quarterfinals, this time in around the 16. I just want to point out one or two things. So the first off is that Washington 5M competed in this one. You remember they were like cash cup finalists, I think, previously at the end of last year.
I do.
They got knocked out by NIP. The other thing is ENTS came into this one, so ENTS were competing in this one. One Win Gang lost to a team called W Waves, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
13-10. So One Wing Gang, I would have thought, by the way, after last season, they really came on strong towards the end of part of last season, if you remember.
Yeah.
They've not looked too good so far. Quarterfinals question mark, which is Astra, Oxy, Spike, formerly of Astralis, Missy, formerly of ENTS, beating NIP 13-11. So if you want to talk about another team that's not looking too good right now, NIP is that team. Depression managed to get the better of ENTS Athena. Again, wording, don't know why. But Spirit defeats W Waves. Big Equipa defeats Forza Ladies. So then we get to the semifinals. And question mark manages to maneuver around Depression. Again, wording. And Big Equipa is going to beat Spirit 2-0. That sets up our final, which Big Equipa did take. The new look Big Equipa, 13-9 on Ancient, but it took OT on Anubis, 16-12.
Is that Giuliano playing for Benikage?
It is.
Oh,
I'll have
with
more. We'll talk about that.
Yosa. Okay.
We'll talk about that a little later.
I just wanted to say, sorry. I just wanted to say, because I had to. You can put a big question mark on that depression right there.
You're anyway.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. Moving on, the final Cash Cup. Navi Javelins actually came in for an appearance in this one
Okay.
as well. Absolutely ran through much of the bracket. Violet, which was a team that managed to get around through last time. This is a team of Silje, Jody, Emma, Pikuems, like Yellums on this team. Players that if you haven't really been commentating the ESCA season, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Not that I have, but I'm saying like from seasons past, I remember them being on like random mixed teams and whatnot.
Right.
They managed to beat NIP, so 13-11. So Pug side beating NIP, it's not a good look, man. NIP having troubles. One Wing Gang went out in the round of 16 again to I don't even know how you would say that name, Goodbill or whatever. But Mikeri was interestingly enough on that side, 13-11 there. Biggie Keepa went out to that same side, by the way, in the quarterfinals. And then Navi beat Ents in the first semifinal. Violet actually made it to the finals, which was, I think, really interesting. They made a hell of a run, and eventually they would lose 13-5, 13-3 to the Navi Javelin side. So,
see who was standing in for NIP, by the way?
I did not.
Bunny was there instead of Ramzan.
Oh yes. Wait, Bunny is in like
Bunny is in
North
Anna,
American
as
Bunny?
in yeah.
North American Bunny.
North American Bunny. I'm guessing she was over visiting.
She might live over there now. Actually,
maybe. On all honesty,
that's a possibility.
Like, yeah.
So anyway, that was the final European Cash Cup. So
shout out to Violet, who I didn't get to watch the games, but I got to follow along because I follow Miley on Twitter, so I got to follow along her journey and how excited she seemed to be. One other point I just want to make while we're kind of still on Europe, I do want to say both NIP and One Wing Gang have spots in season 5. Like they qualified for spots.
Yes. Yes.
I hope they get their act together. I do.
I
Because
actually really wanted this. Yeah. I actually really wanted to see this One Wing Gang take off. Like I would have loved if they had snuck in season 4, and they had a chance to. Remember right at the end, but I was looking at them going, I would freaking love this team to make the land finals. I think it'd be a great story. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. Remember, One Wing changed the player, I think, and obviously NIP has changed the player. NIP have just slowly progressed down, right? Giving up Paulie, I still criticize as a mistake. We see how good she's been playing outside of NIP, right? Yeah. And then NIP just never looked the same. Remember, they were beating Nigma online, then they went from being that good to just but just capitulating in the series, right? Yeah. Then they lose Astra. They decide to part ways, which I understand. There's no criticism in that move at all, right? But they don't look anywhere remotely close to what they were in season 3. So now I really fear for NIP. I think they're in danger of coming into this season and getting absolutely clapped.
All right. Well, speaking of predictions and everything kind of moving forward here, we do have the news now. A lot of news actually kind of came down the list.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Quite a bit. Okay, we'll start from the top and we'll slowly work our way down.
Yep.
Big Akipa, we talked about them kind of having a few players here and there. Ida was moved to the bench, and they are currently playing with Giuliano and Kyosa in EA, as well as the Cash Cups.
Yep, as well as the Cash Cup. Yep. Big signing, mate. I gotta say that's a big. After G2 dropped the team.
Yeah.
And if you're picking up Giuliano and Kyosa, oh my word!
Players,
so, yeah, I think Big is really gonna be a force this upcoming season. Maybe not Navi level, but you're talking spot 2 from Europe, spot 3 maybe from Europe. So now that the Pandas have dissolved, so
right.
really big could slot in that spot nice and easy. Second piece of news is that a team called Vanity Pro has signed a women's esports team. So this is the roster of Heather Faye, which is Boop, ex Bailey Bay, who's been in the scene for quite a while, Minxie Evie, and Lisa or Leeson. I don't know who their fifth is, unfortunately.
I don't think they have a fifth yet. I think they're still kind of looking, but they signed the
right.
core four, and they're just basically going, okay, we're looking for a fifth, but here we're assigned team at this point.
Yeah. So
pretty cool.
And look, good for them. Somebody else coming into the scene, I gotta say, is very good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, big shout out to them, and I hope to see them in the competitions. But I haven't been able to yet. We haven't seen them in the competitions yet. I'm gonna move on with the next one, and then I'll let you take the one that follows. But Brazil Storm's top 10. I thought we were late in our top 20 parks. Brazil Storm waited for theirs. They get the last say. But they did top 10 in Brazil. Goddess, Julie, Gobs, Anna, Nani, Poppins, Issa, Gabi, Ka, and Junger. So again, it's all of Furia and all of Flux, so nobody else. But the interesting point I'd like to point out is they did something kind of like HLTV does when they ask the top players, like, who's your young prospect for the future? And they asked Junger this, and she said Donnie, who recently just signed from MIBR. I think I think Donnie's 16, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think we talked about her
she's
last
16.
Time.
It even says it in the graphic I just pulled up on the tweet. So yeah, it's like we talked about her being great with the Davina side and in the league against MIBR. I mean, she's got so much potential. It's insane. Like I look at it's crazy to think the talent that's down there. Because you look at a player like Poppins, and we've talked about how good Poppins is and how clutch she is and whatnot. Poppins is like 17, 18, maybe. And now you got another one coming through the ranks in Donnie. Brazil's going to be nuts, bro.
They're having a great time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny. You mentioned like these articles coming out late. I think I don't remember. I think it was Phoebe on Shimmer. She showed me. She linked me an article that was the top 10 players in ESL Impact in the year of 2023. And it wasn't NA centric, but it was AI like it was almost 100% AI generated because they basically just like the article is making up numbers.
This is the one you linked me.
I linked you this one, and it was like it ended up being like Fox's number was
Fox's number one,
and it was like there's just I love Fox and I love all the players that were on that top 10. There was no basis for any of those other than just spin the wheel and whoever you get a player as they're that number.
It's like so the Twitter AI. Remember Grok, the Twitter AI? Or you know of Grok, the Twitter AI? Okay, there's Twitter. There's an AI on Twitter. You can ask it all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it's a setting. It says funny or like serious, right? It doesn't say serious, but it's funny or serious. And I put it on serious, and I asked it, who won ESL Impact Season 4? And it was like, Fearless Games. And I'm like, no, man. No.
Good try. Come back again, man.
Not even close, man.
Not even close. Well, speaking of not even close, I don't think this award was really that close at all. Ramona, who plays for HSG. I was trying to remember what HSG stood for, and I realized
Hao Sheng Gaming.
I was about to say I don't even remember what it stands for. No, she was nominated for the Malaysia Esports Awards as the Player of the Year, and she ended up winning. Player of the Year as well. So big ups.
It's a nice trophy, by the way.
Yeah, apparently it looks.
Listen. One day, and I just want to be as cool as Ramona. Okay.
I don't think we'll ever be as cool as Ramona.
Yeah, because she shows up with the award. By the way, she's holding the award. She's got like this blazer jacket on.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, she's just got fresh J's. Like
she's balling, man.
I know, right? I'm like, honestly, I wish I was as cool as Ramona. My life goal.
Yeah. So yeah, big ups to her. I'm proud of her. Moving forward then, we have a few announcements that are going to kind of come in junction together. It's a lot all at once, and honestly, we'll go through all four at once. So the first announcement was Kate was departing Tsunami Sirens.
To focus on school.
Schoolwork was taking up too much time. But then at the same time, so you have to remember at this point, Sirens have only made 4 players official because Chicken left. Robin had been playing in her stead, but they had never officially had her on on the team. At this point, with Kate leaving, they were down to 3. While Robin gets officially announced, becomes the 4th member of the Tsunami or Sirens. She gets announced in to take on the IG to continue her IGL duties essentially. And then, of course, a little bit later, it is announced that Detonate and Tsunami are merging. What ended up happening was so with the merger, Tsunami merges under Detonate, and the brand Tsunami still exists, but they're no longer an esports brand. They're King's private own thing. King, of course, was the owner of Tsunami Esports, now just owner of Tsunami, but he works under Detonate. And then Tsunami Sirens at that point did not continue forward with their contracts that they any contract that they had with the Sirens. They instead are going out on their own, and they announced themselves to be called Lotus. So yeah, that is the saga of Tsunami Sirens. They are no longer the Sirens, they are now just called Lotus. And
I like it though.
they have
I like the team name. The logo is really nice.
The logo is very good. But yeah, they have at this point, yeah, they don't have any more affiliation with Tsunami or Detonate or anything like that.
Which sucks. I thought Detonate were gonna take them under. I just don't think like it worked out.
Yeah, there's personality stuff flashing.
Yeah, I
really don't.
It wouldn't be North America without them.
You're right. It would not be North America
I mean,
without somebody trying to screw somebody else over. Speaking of screwing over, it's not really screwing over. EG Gold is dead, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, the players got screwed over on EG.
Well, the players got.
Man, that org was so poorly run. I'm gonna stand by that.
It was very poorly run. It was. They were turning it around towards the end, but honestly.
No, they weren't. It got worse towards the end.
The players were turning it around.
Yeah. The result. I'm talking about the org.
EG.
I'm talking about the org. I'm not talking about the players.
Buddy, they put Valorant team in contract hell. I am never ever.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not supporting it. There's no point.
There's no official stream. Meanwhile, a half hour earlier, we announced we're picking up their game. Come on, man.
All right, ESL Impact. They announced their season 5 invites. We already kind of knew everything on this one, just because finally, ESL Impact at the end of season 4 said, "Hey guys, we know you don't really understand how our invites have worked yet. We're gonna make it easy. Here's how they work. They're not invites anymore. They are qualification spots." So, the 4 teams that had qualified previously into season 5 from North America were FlyQuest Red, Shimmer, EG Gold, and Tsunami Sirens. That's changed because EG's died, and the Sirens are no longer called the Sirens. So it is instead the 4 teams coming through: FlyQuest Red, Shimmer, Lotus, and Karma. Karma is the 4th team joining them. Yeah,
I like this because technically they were 5th last season.
They were.
So it's literally like they're the next in line. It's like next man up kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Or next woman up. But I do have a question, Parks.
Okay.
Did the Women's Council approve these changes?
I think they did.
Okay,
I'd like to think they did.
Okay, I'd like to think they did too.
I'd like to think they did. This, and it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because at the same time that this was happening in South America, we had a bit of a change as well. MIBR, we talked so much about them not qualifying. They'll have to play the qualifiers and all this stuff. It's so funny. We thought it was so hilarious. Well, the joke is on us.
I wouldn't say it was hilarious. It's just it was really shocking.
I think it's funny.
Like...
I thought it was really funny, and I thought to make a joke of it at any point, an opportunity. Good. MIBR are actually replacing Davina. The old Davina team has died away as a result of roster movement.
Yeah, and ESL didn't know about it at first, and then they figured it out.
They were like, "Wait a minute, who are you?" And yeah, so MIBR taking the spot over. So we made jokes, like I said, we made jokes about them not being in the, and they'll have to go through.
I wouldn't say jokes. I think you're mischaracterizing.
Okay, I made jokes about them not being in. I made fun of it. And they're now in. I have to eat my words. They are in. I knew they were gonna make it anyway.
Now they made it in Brazil.
There you go. There you go. All right.
I need you to, when we cut the highlights, I need a cricket sound effect over that. Okay,
we'll get Carson. Okay. Don't you worry.
Okay.
All right, few more little tidbits here and there. Well, I guess one more tidbit before the big news. We got some time here.
Yes.
Raul
Raul.
Raul joins
Yeah.
Fluxo as an assistant coach, so that's their 7th man because of course they already had
Eighth.
8th.
Eighth. Yeah. So you have the 5 girls.
Yeah.
Then you have Darkside.
Yeah.
Then you have Sis, who's the analyst.
Okay.
XIS.
Would you
Now
not
you have
put-
Raul, who's the assistant
Okay.
coach.
They've got full staff. You know what? I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I like it. So Raul, former Corinthians, and then he was on Black Dragons,
Yep.
if you remember. And then he did Fury Academy as well, I think.
Right.
So pretty solid assistant coach coming in here. I think it's a good pickup. I think there's a lot of good things that is going on down the Fluxo camp. I like too that I think what's really admirable is that when they have signed between orgs, like they went Black Dragons to B4,
Yeah.
they went B4 to Fluxo. They've kept the whole team. Like they haven't.
Yeah, they don't
You
trade
know,
out. They just
even
keep
it's
it
something
forever.
like where it's like, do you need an analyst? Do you need an assistant? It's like, no, we are one
We are a
unit,
family.
and you get us all as a package.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a big help in keeping the team performing the way they do, as they have had to transition twice across organizations, right? So I think there's big things to come from this team. I really do. I hope they live up to potential, because the potential to me is that they can win an Impact Land.
100%.
But you know, and they just haven't been able to get it across the line. They might now, based on the news upcoming. Let's get to it, Parks. I'll let you drop the bomb. The first of 2 bombs.
It's
really.
It's a few days old because of when we do the episodes. But yeah, at 3:30 on January 30th, which was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Husky, who is the coach of Nigma Galaxy, announces, "Hey guys, our time at Nigma is coming to an end as of the 14th of February. So happy Valentine's
Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's
exactly.
Day. We're gonna be orgless." They said he said, we'd like to thank Nigma for all their time and all the memories. If you want to reach out to us, please do with offers. The other big bomb that comes with that. Hey, you remember that player? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just want to say one thing. You know what getting dropped on Valentine's Day will make you do? Getting dumped on Valentine's Day.
No.
It'll make you change your team name to Depression. That's so. Why Valentine's Day, mate? Why?
It's when their contract ends. What a fairy tale ending. They can come back. They come
not
back,
at
they
all.
come back the next.
In fact, it's the opposite.
It's like the reverse rom-com.
Yeah.
It's the reverse rom-com. Okay. The bad news. I don't know if it's bad news. The news that continues on with this. The big news is that Zaz is taking over. Not taking over. She's stepping in replace of Vilga. Stepping away from the roster. She's looking for a new I don't know, team to play with, a new roster to build.
I don't know if it's I you know what, I don't know too. I don't know if it's something where it's like if she's like, oh, I'm looking for a mixed team, or I'm like, I have no idea. But
she's
she
looking
is
to
looking.
play.
Yeah.
Lead her team
100%. Yeah.
So honestly, it is a huge shakeup at the top. And not something that anybody expected. Like, this is the most dominant team in Impact, has been for the 2 years of Impact. They've done all right mixed team play. They haven't done stellar. But I guess they felt the need for a change, and so they brought in Zaz. I believe Tori is taking over.
Oh, I don't think the team made this decision. I think Vilga totally said, you know what, I want a new adventure.
Yeah.
So
it could have been a clash of personality on that. Like, hey guys, how are we gonna make the next step here? Are we gonna? Oh, we're kind of where we're at. We've maxed our potential.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I guess we need to make a change. We need to see if we can get a bit better. I don't know. It hit hard. This announcement, it hit hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is like just so earth-shattering through the scene. Because not to, go back on and whatnot, but if you think about it, right? The women's scene is really always had one team that's just dominated at the top, right? We haven't had teams that have swapped major international events since the ESWC days, right? And that was with SK Gaming ladies were winning every other year, like 08, 010, 12.
Right.
And then they would lose the final in 09, 11, you know what I mean? Things like that. And their competition kind of left the scene a little bit, right? Because ESWC started scaling back, a lot of the orgs started scaling back. And that left SK and UB United to really dominate the scene for years. That's when they won back-to-back ESWCs. You get CLG, they dominate the WESG events, right?
Yep.
Then you get Giuliano's team coming in there, who was always one of the good teams, had won one of those ESWCs.
Yeah.
And they win DreamHack Valencia Showdown. And they win the online tournaments because you get COVID. And after that, the team leaves for Valorant.
Right.
And the scene kind of dies. And that's like the first big shakeup or the second big shakeup, right? And then you get this Nigma Galaxy side, who was then called Assassins, I think, even prior to them being Galaxy Racer, who come in and they dominate the scene. And until that team breaks up, somebody else now can dominate. And I think that's the weird thing is like, I want to say since probably going back to about 2015, it's really just been one team at the top the whole time. Right. It's been a different team. Like it's been partly CLG.
There's errors. There have been errors.
Yeah, there's errors. That's what I'm trying to get to at. But it's not like the men's team where like when Fnatic made that amazing run where they won like every tournament in 9 months span or something like that, or they won like most tournaments in 9 months. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is one of the most dominant teams." And then we got the Astralis era. But like everyone talks about like NIP, Fnatic era, Astralis era. Astralis era was really the only one that had the longevity that could match the same longevity that we've seen in the women's teams for teams at the top. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like the Astralis era was like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with the Nigma era. It's the same way previously with the CLG era. You would argue it's the same way with Giuliano's team and Originum or whatever they were called under whichever banner.
Yeah.
COVID kind of put a dent in that because you couldn't play online.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't play in person, I should say. You had to play regionally for a while. But it's like it's one of these things where teams have come in and just it's been an error the whole way. So now that is obviously in jeopardy. I wouldn't, I'm not going to say Nigma don't have the quality to win another tournament. There's 4 other players on that side. Zaz, we know the experience she's got. But it's one of these things where is this the start of a new era? Is somebody going to come up through the ranks? Is it going to be Furious time? Is it going to be FlyQuest time finally? You know what I mean? We don't know. These are things that I think set up for the online season to be really interesting because we could get there in this Nigma side, whatever they're called after the contracts expired. They could be 4-2. And okay, maybe they scrape into a land because ESL decides to give 95% of the allocation to EU. But we don't know. So I think that's really the big implications is that this is something that could be the end of it is the end of an era with Vilk and the team flat out, period. But whether this team, this core extends that era.
As a whole, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because this organization signed this team after the 2019 I want to say maybe 2018 Gamer Girl Pro Festival. They've been part of this organization for 4 years. So no longer than that, 6 years. So it's been a long run, and it's been impressive. And these are 5 future. I mean, Vilga, wherever she goes, is going to be in great demand. She's going to be a future Hall of Famer if they ever resume putting people in the Esports Hall of Fame, if that ever continues to be a thing. But the Esports Awards Lifetime Achievement Award, Vilga will be a recipient of that because of the work she's done in this side over the last 6 years. Really, it's unbelievable.
All right. Well, with the big bombshell gone off, now we have a crater, and that crater is what are you watching over the next 2 weeks, Benny?
the big thing everybody's watching.
Yep.
Parks, it's so nice. We got a reprieve this weekend for Valentine's Day weekend. There's no events. Everybody enjoy Valentine's Day with your loved ones. It's one of my favorite holidays. And then right afterwards, on Monday the 12th, it's qualifier season, baby.
Yep.
The qualifiers are here for ESL Impact Season 5. They're going to be spicy, my friend. There's going to be a lot of teams trying to get into this league.
Yeah, there will be, especially in EU. I mean, NA, we've kind of seen like. I want to say we get like.
I still think NA is going to surprise.
I think
NA is going to surprise.
Okay, I think we're gonna get maybe 5-6 teams. I don't know, because there's 2 qualifiers, right? So you'll get 5-6 teams the first time around.
Yeah.
You'll probably get 3 to 4 the next.
Oh.
But
yeah, I didn't mean in the numbers. I meant who qualifies.
Oh yes. I think
you know what I mean. I think NA's a scrap fest, man. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, I have a few shoe-ins I think that I'll go through, but yeah. I guess for myself, I don't know. I'm watching more FlyQuest Red games all of a sudden now because I started casting for them. So that's a big recent development. Finally in the FlyQuest Red, they haven't won a match when I've casted them, but like, I'm there. So
that's fair. Yeah, congratulations, by the way. I'm so glad you're there, man. You deserve it. I'm watching one other thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Champions League first leg, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
It starts.
I'm watching hockey games in real
Hey, we gotta go to the World Cup. It's coming home, baby.
I am not going to a World Cup game. They're too expensive. So much money.
I'm gonna try to get tickets to the final. I'm like, Heath Rutherford's a train right away, brother. Let's go.
Did you see? I'm a quick aside here. I've seen so many memes about I think it's the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And so many of them are good. The one is just like there's a sign in the hotel that's like, "Do not walk to and from the stadium. That is illegal." And somebody's just like, "Oh, so it's illegal to walk now? Great."
It's not. It's just that Heath Rutherford's a little rough place. That's all. But
well, the whole thing is surrounded with just parking lot. It's a highway and a parking lot.
Yeah.
And a stadium. Like, what?
This is why I hate Red Bull away, because it's literally middle of a swamp. We built Red Bull Arena, and we didn't even pave the parking lot. Here's just some gravel.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Great job. Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah,
all right.
I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. That's the end of episode 36, though, Parks.
You're right. You are right.
And that means we will see you. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. But that also means we will see you next time. Take care.
2 weeks time. 2 weeks time.
Yes.
Bye.